Dustin, listen, I know you got a bunch of knowledge in you for tech as well, but let's start from the very beginning. Your childhood, how you came up and got into tech in the first place.
First off, I'm 44 years old, so I'm an old head. Been around. I was born in 1980. I've kind of seen the evolution of technology happen since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Before the iPhone, before smartphones, before all this kind of stuff, I was doing the tech thing. As a very young age, we had a couple computers in the house here and there, but I was always intrigued by it. I was 3 or 4 years old. I was the one that was setting the VCR at the time to do the recordings for the family. I was the one setting the clocks on the microwave.
Damn.
I've always kind of had this knack for technology. It was always kind of in me. Honestly knew I was always going to do it. Grew up out in the Midwest. I was born in Dallas, Texas. Grew up in Oklahoma and Texas. Moved down to Miami in the late 80s, early 90s, and been here ever since. From a technology standpoint, through high school, I always took computer classes. I was always involved. I had a teacher in Sunset. Actually, I was in Sunset taking some night school there. It's a local school here.
Wow.
And my computer teacher got me into a program to get certifications.
Right.
And those certifications were really, really, really big at that time.
Can you tell them as well how important those certs are for your career as well?
Certs are very important. It really dives into the specifics of the career path that you're going to go, whether it's on the engineering side, whether it's on the software side. These particular certifications were the Microsoft Certified System Engineer program. And I actually got certified at 16 years old. I was very young. I still think I was one of the youngest ones in the state to ever do it.
What was your first job coming out of that?
First job, first job was a peon job, and I won't mention that. But my first half decent job was working at Best Buy, working in retail.
Really?
Yeah. So retail was where I first started. Always working with some sort of computer. Place where I was working at Staples for a while back when they had a tech department in there. CompUSA, which is now defunct. Tiger Direct, which is now defunct. I worked at all those places back in the day.
Your parents saw you work with computers a lot, tech stuff. Did they believe in you that you were actually good at it, or you were just like,
No, 100%. I had a lot of support from both my mother and my father. They pushed me along. They always kind of hyped me up, and they were very supportive of everything. They knew it was the future too. Both my parents, they really weren't that tech savvy, so it definitely wasn't in the family. I was definitely one that I was the outlier of the family as far as tech goes, but they were both very supportive.
That's good.
Yeah.
So getting to tech, obviously speaking, nowadays is a little bit harder because competition's fierce, a lot of applicants. How'd you get into it full time with your, I guess, first big job?
Yeah, so I worked retail for a long time. At that time, sales was really big. Computers were $3,000-$4,000 back then. There was a lot more profit in the computers back then. So on the sales side of it, there was a lot more money. This is in the late 90s, early 2000s. We made really good money for that time. Really, really good money for that time. On the sales side of it, it obviously fizzled.
Yeah.
The prices of computers went down. They became commodities. The profits just weren't there.
What year was that, roughly?
2002-ish, 2003-ish.
Okay.
Right around there. After my retail circuit, I worked in retail from 18, 19, 21, somewhere around 22 years old is when I kind of got away from that. The prices of things just went down. The money wasn't there anymore. And I started working for a telco company, a voice over IP company in Fort Lauderdale, and it was a subsidiary of IBM. So I was with the best of the best at that time. It was really cool. It was a really great job. I learned a lot and took in a lot from there. But that was my first real serious job, the six-figure salary job. Let's put it that way.
How much is that an hour, roughly, back then?
Oh, I don't know.
Because today it would be.
I mean, $100,000 a year back in the early 2000s is probably $250,000 now.
Yeah.
I would like to think.
Yeah.
It was really good money at the time.
What was your first car, man? What'd you buy?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. So I was into Hondas at that time. I was a Honda boy. So I had a couple Civics and a couple Accords back in that time. I was one of the Ricer boys back in the day.
I remember when I came to Florida, there was a whole car culture here regarding legal racing and of course things on the road. And it's funny because if you know the car scene here in Florida, it's very small, but it's also very big at the same time because everyone has a nice car. They want to mod it, get new cars as well. And every second Saturday of the month they do Supercar Saturdays here in Florida. So that's good.
Yeah.
So in tech, right? For someone watching for the first time, let's say they want to get into it as well. How would they start? You would say.
I recommend if you're green in the environment and you just see it as a great career path, and on that note, of the top 10 careers every single year for the last 20 years that I've looked, it's always health, tech, and then maybe a sales position, and then maybe a little bit of finance. But tech dominates every year.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very solid career path and choice. But getting into it, it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, you're on call all the time. You're working hard. It's a lot. It's a 7-day-a-week job for sure. But there's introductory courses that you can take. Community colleges, local colleges. There's online classes. I recommend highly anyone that's interested in it, that's not already working in the field in some capacity, take one of those classes, and it gives a very broad overview of the software side, the hardware side, and I think that's the best way to really get introduced to it.
So typically speaking, there's different genres of tech. There's obviously software programming. There's as well as like cybersecurity. There's networking. Also service providers. Which one are you in?
So we are actually an MSP. We're a managed service provider. And what we do is we go into companies and we take over their whole infrastructure. We take over their servers, their desktops. We manage the networks. We also do websites and search engine optimization and cables and voice over IP. And we have a wide variety of services that we do offer. But we're a managed service provider at the heart of our business.
So you're like the company's best friend, basically, in tech.
We are. I mean, we're kind of like C-level executives in every company, and we go in and we consult them, and we basically tell them what to do. We tell them how to save money. We tell them how to streamline their operations. We tell them how to streamline their bills, and we look at all that with them. We work with the office managers, and we make the office managers look really good. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
What are the requirements to get into this kind of work? Do you need a cert, degree, or just experience in the job?
So if you're going to go down the entrepreneurial path like I did, you can be self-taught. I know there's a lot of sister companies that we have that we work with. We've worked with over the years that we've helped launch, and a lot of those guys are self-taught. I mean, you can learn a lot of this just with field experience. You got to really have it in you. You got to be like how I was when I was 10 years old. It's not something that you're just going to learn off the top of your dome. But you definitely got to get into a class at some point.
Okay, so let's say I'm starting out. I just finished school. What's starting salary for me if I join this career path?
There's a ton of jobs in the $75K a year mark. There's tons of them. 75 to 125 is kind of the baseline now in tech, just about anywhere across the country.
And what do they require? A degree, experience? What is
most of the entry level jobs when you go to work for a big corporation, you're going to need at least some sort of a 2-year degree and some sort, or you're going to need to know a programming language or something to do with the hardware, depending on what avenue you're going in. You're going to need to have some formal education in order to get one of those jobs.
So let's say I want to fast track this to get even higher pay. What cert would I need to get? Yes, like from the certifications.
It depends on whether you're going software or hardware. It really depends. So once you choose that path, then that'll determine exactly which certification you're going to need to get.
Why didn't you go software?
It doesn't interest me. It's just it doesn't excite me like the support side of it. I also feel like when you're on the software side of it, you're very limited. A lot of guys will go learn 2 or 3 different coding languages and they'll get themselves a job, but they're kind of stuck in that market and they can't really deviate from it. On my side of it, we're more on the service side of it. And as the trends change and as the new technologies come in, we adapt to those change and we help the customers utilize those new technologies versus make the technologies. There's money on both sides of it. It just depends on the path you want to go. But the software development side there's big money in that. There's really big money.
Because what's scary? A couple years ago, I was told, a lot of people were told that you should get into software development because that's where the money is. They said you do programming, you're going to get paid for a long time. But now welcome in AI. It's changing how the game is being done. And actually, last year recorded 3.4 million jobs were outsourced to other countries. So how does someone navigate the job market now with all those things happening with AI, jobs be outsourced? What would you say?
Outsourcing has been a problem since the beginning of time. It's plagued just about every industry. Listen, in my market down here, hopefully a lot of the listeners are down here in South Florida, but I know we've got some across the United States. South Florida market's a little different than the rest of the United States. Job quality down here is not that great. Mediocre work down here is better than most people's. So it's pretty easy to get work down here. In the rest of the United States, that's a little different. It does changes per region that you're in.
But what's funny about that, you mentioned it too as well, is that people will work a job here or work for themselves here, but it's low class work.
It is.
So it's like bare minimum.
It is.
So if you do even a little bit more, you're seen as way better.
You're golden. You're golden. And if you do exceptional work, you're never going to have a problem. And I like to think that that's where we're at. We do quality work. We've got a good name for ourselves out there. And we're a small, big company. We present big, but we're small. And
So Dustin, real quick, if you got to change one thing from back then to now with tech, would you say, for example, let's say you get into an industry like this, right? You want to have, of course, everything ducks in a row before you go apply for this job. Give us the play-by-play. If someone's watching for the first time, what they need through and through.
I always recommend and always give suggestions to everybody. if you're interested in getting into this career, go get a job in the career. Even if it's at Best Buy. If you're 18, 20, 22 years old, it's an entry-level job anyway. You're most likely got something else going on. You're either in and out of school. Go get a job working in retail. Go get a job working for, even if it's the front desk help, it doesn't really matter. You can get level 1 support. There's plenty of companies offering positions. I mean, I look through Indeed all the time. There's just thousands of job postings all the time. Thousands everywhere. Go get a job in the market. It's going to be an entry-level position, but keep an idea. Keep your eyes open and watch how the businesses are being ran and see what they're doing. Learn from their mistakes so that when you take that into your position later on in another job, or if you start your own business, learn from where you're at. Study what they're doing. In that job position, I mean, I worked retail and I chose retail because I took advantage of all the customers coming in. You know, when you're working in retail, the guys that are coming in to buy things in the daytime is me now. So I'm in there, I'm going in and out of Best Buy grabbing things, real quickly now. You know, I'm a business owner. I'm looking for tech guys. I've hired people from Best Buy before.
Really?
Yeah. You know, you see somebody in there with a lot of tenacity and they're real eager and they talk well and they present well and they've got the right look. Listen, they're a good candidate for it. You know, and guys like us, we can tell who's who. You know, I've hired a lot of people in my day. I've hired hundreds and hundreds of people at various jobs over the years, and you can tell right away if somebody's a good fit or not.
Do you think that nowadays it's hard to find good talent? I would argue that a lot of people want jobs, but they don't want to put in the work.
Oh man, that's a touchy subject. Yeah, listen, the generation now is not the hardest working.
Yeah,
it is a little bit of a challenge. I'm lucky that at this point I've got a good team around me. I'm not actively searching, and I haven't had to hire anybody for a higher level position in a while. We do hire people to come in and help out run cables. We the monkey work. You know, you come in, you do the work, and you leave. It's in and out type work. It's manual labor basically. High level positions are a lot harder. It is. People want to work for nothing now. They think everything comes to them really quickly, and this industry it's a little tougher. You got to get in there and you got to grind and you got to work for a few years to really build it up and learn. It's constantly learning. It's constantly evolving.
It never stops.
It never stops. And I mean, that's the beauty of it. And that's why it's not going away. That's why it's going to be here forever. It's just never going to go away. There's always going to be a need. There's always going to need to be support. I mean, everything in your life from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed is a computer or running off of a computer. Even if you're old and you write checks and you're not even using the technology you want to, you're still going to an ATM and there's a computer behind that. So the support's always going to be there. And it's just getting crazier and crazier every year. Yeah,
it's not going anywhere. So every industry has their actual benefits and disadvantages, of course. What are the benefits of getting into tech, you would say, nowadays?
Benefits of getting into tech is stability. Again, I mentioned a few minutes ago that, the top 10 positions every single year, you can look this up. It's always 4 or 5 or 6 tech positions, and then, 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 positions in health. Like you said, then you throw in a finance job, and then sales is always one of the top 10 jobs, right? Sales in anywhere always makes money. Burnout phases happens in a lot of these jobs. Finance wears you out too. Benefits of working in tech is a stability. Again, like we're talking about, it's never going to go anywhere. It's always going to be there. And you just got to be willing to adapt. I mean, when I originally started the company, I'm not doing anything that I wanted to when I first started. We've had to adapt and we've had to mold and change. We have 8 or 9 more product offerings now than when we first started. And this is just the way the industry is. It just changes. It's not static. It doesn't stand there, and you got to be willing to change and adopt. You can't be a person that's, a creature of habit, so to speak. You got to be willing to change and adopt to the times.
So you're saying basically, get some education, work for somebody, learn the system, and then if you want to be an entrepreneur, take that information, get your own clients, and move forward in your own way.
100%. And, very early on, get an LLC, get an S Corp, start the business. A lot of guys don't do this. I made the mistake early on too. I did it the first year that I opened the company. You can source product from a lot of other places now, but when you go to try and get equipment from companies and you're trying to buy a third party, listen, they're not taking you serious because they're seeing you as a month-old company, and tech is a fly-by-night industry. So they're not taking you seriously. It's a little harder to get products. It's a little harder to source things. I would say start that now. And I recommend that to anybody. I mean, whether you're going to go into tech or any other industry, it's always a good thing to start that up and, get an account and get someone that's good on your books and start writing some things off and save some money.
Okay, real quick, Dustin. Okay, listen, I love school. Just kidding, I hate school. What if I hate school? I don't want to get a degree. Can I still work this career for myself?
Of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, if that's the case, then you're going to go down the entrepreneurial path. That's just the way that you're going to have to do it. Listen, there's a lot of self-study. The internet does wonders these days. There's a lot of information out there that you can find. But if that's the case and that's the path that you want to go down, just go get a job working somewhere. Start studying how they're doing things and let it run. I mean, like I said, you can start in retail. You can start working at Best Buy, and in 5 years, easy, without even trying, within 5 years, it might seem like a long time initially, but within 5 years, you can have yourself a very, very good, successful 6-figure salary.
Not bad at all. Yeah. What's the max you can make, like super max, top level?
I mean, Silicon Valley has a lot of $1 million guys out there.
Sheesh.
You know, Silicon Valley has a lot. I mean, there's a lot of $500,000 guys out there. You know, the thing about this career is it's not, you know, you're not going to make millions and millions and millions and millions every single year. It's not quick money, but it's a good, stable career.
It's stable.
It's stable. And, you know, you can raise a family on this, you know, you can feed. I mean, I've fed my family all these years and we've all done very well. We've all traveled.
I've seen, man.
You know, yeah, you have. And, you know, we're all doing really well because of it. And it's fed me for a very long time. So the stability part of it is a good thing. The people that really get into this, the network of people around me, they've been doing it 10 plus years or more. And that's the real good benefit of it, is that it's good, stable money. And if you open your own business and you do go down the entrepreneur, it's not hard to make $500,000. It's really, really, truly not. You don't need that many customers.
Yeah.
So the possibilities are really limitless. And then you can scale it as high as you want, or you can keep it simple and small. You can grow it out. You can open up multiple offices. Just depends on the direction that you want to go.
Aren't you scared of AI coming to the forefront? I was at a meeting actually, and they spoke about AI becoming a part of every company by 2030. Aren't you worried about like it dominating your industry, like taking over jobs, stuff like that?
No, I mean, AI has been around for a long time. It's like a lot of these coined terms. I mean, the cloud was a big thing 10 years ago, and everybody was scared of the cloud and what was it and how are we going to push our data offsite and how is it not going to be here, and everybody wanted on-prem stuff. Now the cloud is just something that nobody even talks about. I really don't like a lot of these terms. AI's here. It's been here for a while, but it's just going to continue to get better. On my side of it, I basically use AI as a tool, and I educate my customers on how to use it to make them more profitable and to streamline their processes. And I'm really getting a lot better about teaching them how to utilize this in a way that suits the customer's needs in the industry that they're in. And I mean, AI's in everything now. It's in Zoom.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can see it everywhere. It's in Adobe now, and it's in your email now. It's in Office 365. It's everywhere. So you know, really on my side of it, I'm not really worried about it. On the programming side, I wouldn't be worried about it either. If you're a developer, I mean, obviously you're doing great right now, but it is going to become the norm eventually, and it's gonna taper off like a lot of the cloud-based stuff. And right now it's a trend. It's big. It's massive. It's blowing up everywhere. But no, I don't worry about it taking over. I don't worry about it taking our jobs, because at the end of the day, somebody still has to program it. Somebody still has to deploy it. Somebody still has to support it.
And maintain it.
And no matter what, you know, on the support side of it, which is where we're at, there's always going to be a need, because the end user and the customers are never going to be able to really truly understand all this.
Yeah, I think every time there's a new rollout, people are like, oh, what do I do? Who do I call? So that's where you come in.
That's where we come in, you know. Call us up and we go out and we help them out.